All right, we are back. What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we got to talk about this because some more information has come out today regarding Anthony Richardson, regarding his injury, and also regarding Derek, just the way that Shane Steichen has completely, once again, mismanaged everything when it comes to Anthony Richardson. And we're going to talk about that here right now. But before we do that, guys, just want to remind you to be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff so that you are in the loop when we drop fresh content just like this. All right, Derek, so obviously we heard Shane Steichen last week talking about Anthony Richardson, saying he was experiencing, and I'll quote, some soreness, right? And obviously AR did not play in that game, and that led to a lot of speculation, a lot of, potential motivation, and a lot of people saying, is Anthony Richardson, weak-minded? Is Anthony Richardson soft? We heard all these different things that people were saying in regards to Anthony Richardson. And then we see Anthony Richardson come out today and talk to the media and basically talk about the fact that, we heard a couple days ago that he was dealing with some pretty severe spasms. He also was talking about how he had some disc issues as well. And this is what he said. He said, last week was tough. He said, I couldn't even stand up on Tuesday. I could barely even walk. I was crawling around the house. And, obviously they kept flaring up. And, Anthony Richardson also said, that he has been kind of dealing with some stuff really since 8th grade, right? So this has been a thing for a while. And so some of those comments right there, Derek, from what Anthony Richardson was kind of revealing a little bit about how he was feeling last week. And I'll add also, he said he's feeling much better this week. But, Derek, that raises a number of concerns. I think the first one is, what in the world was Shane Steichen doing? And what is he doing in terms of comments about Anthony Richardson? Because you can't just say it's a little soreness when the dude literally could not walk a week ago. I mean, that is insanely neglectful, Derek. And Shane Steichen, I feel like just the way he's handled the media and the PR the past week plus has been, I think, sane horrendous, is putting it lightly. And I think for some fans, Derek, and I've seen it on social media, the way that Shane has not handled a lot of things this year has turned them off to the idea of him being the guy moving forward in 2025 and beyond. What are your thoughts on that? Just the way that Shane really, I think, butchered a lot of ways the whole thing around Anthony Richardson and his issues, his pretty severe injury from what we're hearing now, and just kind of his nonchalantness in a way, and kind of where the Colts are now and kind of what AR revealed today to the people. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, here's the thing. I want to say one thing real quick before I hop into the root of your question, because I think with this news coming out, it is causing a lot of people to think about certain things or say certain things that I don't think people are jumping to conclusions about. And I just want to say it first. So we're hearing that at the root of the issue right now, he's talking about a disc problem, right? People are saying, how could you possibly have drafted this guy with disc issues in the beginning?
It's been a while,
Here's the
right?
problem. Here's the problem. Yes, he has, supposedly he has had problems in the past, supposedly. Yeah. I haven't seen like the source from that yet, but I've heard people say he's had back issues in the past, but it wasn't anything to the level that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, he just to quote real quick, I just want it from Anthony Richardson. He said, they said it's a discipline that's been there for a while, but I guess it got triggered the wrong way last week. So he's dealt with it on some level for a while now. Yes. It's not been a new thing.
And here's the thing. A lot of times, disc issues don't pop up unless you get MRIs, unless you get spinal imagery to like be able to see if there's an actual problem there. So, I mean, Cody, a lot of times, he might have had some lower back problems, but it's never gotten to the point where like, hey, we need to go to the doctor to confirm if this is a huge issue or not. That's it. Like, people do screening, people do physicals, they do stuff like that all the time coming into the league. But not every athlete is getting spinal imagery, okay? So, like, obviously, going through the draft process and interviews and all this other stuff, that probably has never come up before. That has probably never come up before. And this is why we're hearing about it now, saying that the Colts were negligent in drafting a quarterback that had these issues in the first place. The Colts, and like a lot of other teams, probably did not know that this was a major issue that was going to eventually become a problem later on down the road. Okay, so I just want to say that right off the top. For anyone that's insinuating that the Colts should have known that this was going to happen from the last 6 years of Anthony Richardson's life, you're not making sense on that. So first things first, let's just hop off that train. Now, let's talk about the actual thing is. Now we know he has a disc problem, Cody. And people will tell you, like, if you have a disc problem, they don't get better over time. Disc problems very rarely get better over time, especially when you keep doing the said activity that caused the disc problem in the first place. So the problem is this brings up two problems for me, Cody. One is, we have said this already several times over the last few weeks, and we're going to continue to say it going forward. The Colts have botched this. Like, they have completely botched this. This is, you allowed Indianapolis Colts fans and fans of football to immediately assume that Anthony Richardson is soft. You have hurt his public image in more ways than one by not being upfront with people from the get-go. So, and my thing is, I hate this whole soft thing. Like, the guy literally is chucking 300-pound defensive tackles off him and taking one-on-one hits with linebackers all the time and running through defensive backs. Like, the whole I'm soft thing is so stupid in the first place. But that does bring up the other point, is, as much as I hate to say it, Cody, I really want Anthony Richardson to work here, but I'm starting to be concerned about that. He's definitely injury prone. He's injury prone now. And we need to be concerned. We need to be concerned because, for one, he had that season-ending shoulder injury. Again, that hasn't really affected him this year at all so far, which is a great thing. But now that, he's had a concussion, he's had knee problems, now all of a sudden we're hearing back pain. And Cody, this is PTSD for a lot of Colts fans right now. The lower back pain that's shooting into the ankle. You want to know the last guy that the Indianapolis Colts had that's no longer on the team that had issues like that?
We know.
So that's the issue we have here, is now you have fans that are going to be concerned at the fact that this guy continues to miss time over and over again. Again, to no fault of his own. This is just how sometimes you can be mentally tough, but sometimes your body just can't stand it. And now we know that Anthony Richardson has a back problem that at any given moment later on down the line could potentially flare up again. And he could miss weeks, very serious weeks, if something like this were to happen. And we know, based off of his play style, that that's not going to be something that we can just monitor or keep away. Like, sure, the Indianapolis Colts know about it now and can maybe hopefully keep in mind, how he works with this stuff. But again, with how Colts fans should feel about Steichen and company lying or being incapable of knowing the truth about these certain kinds of injuries. And then on top of it, there's already been question marks about guys skipping treatments and all this other stuff. And we already have issues, or we all have our feelings about the Colts medical staff, and we don't have trust in them at all. So this doesn't spell as a good situation for the Indianapolis Colts and for us Colts fans and for Anthony Richardson. You got a guy that might have a lingering problem. You have no faith in the organization to be able to handle it. Like, and if you do have faith that the Colts can handle this situation, then you need to look back at recent histories and tell us where that trust comes from, because I have none. And it is very concerning. And Cody, it leads to the bare question that, the Indianapolis Colts, they might have to start looking at another quarterback, because, and we're going to talk about that in other videos and whatnot, but it's very concerning that now Anthony Richardson might have a long-lasting injury, or something that we have to constantly keep worrying about. We're already having to worry about his accuracy, if he is going to get better, whether or not he was going to stay on the field and whatnot. Now you have another issue here that feels like it's just another 5 steps back for the organization.
And when you look at it, Anthony Richardson has missed more games than he's played with the Indianapolis Colts through 2 seasons. So if that tells you anything right there, Derek. And to your point, like, he now we know something that could flare up at any moment. And as he continues to get older, Derek, is it going to get worse? It might. I don't know. I don't know how I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor, but yeah, the reality is, Derek, even before this, you couldn't rely on him to be healthy. You couldn't rely on him to be a guy that was going to play 16, 17 games a year. And like you said, we're going to make a video on this, but Derek, I made a post about this on X earlier today. I think, honestly, in the Colts' best interest, they need to look at adding some serious competition for Anthony Richardson. Now, I'm not talking a 40-year-old Joe Flacco. I'm talking about actually another quarterback that could come in and be the starter long term, or at least at the minimum for next year, right? Because you just don't know with Anthony Richardson at this point. And, if you go into next season, Derek, or go to next offseason, at this point next year, you still don't know, and he's still missing games. I think that's the point, Derek, where, and I'm assuming a new GM is going to be here at that point. He's not tied to AR, right? Like, I think it's a chance there where maybe if you're the Colts, you might have to cut bait and kind of go all in 2026 on a quarterback. That might be the reality you have to be in. But as it stands for the immediate, moving forward into 2025, I don't know, Derek. It's very concerning. It's very concerning. And I think just the more these injuries happen, the more now that you have potentially a injury that's not going to go away, that could be, like you said, a long-term issue. It does, kind of wane your confidence a little bit that he can be the guy, because we already had injury questions before this. So it is concerning, 100%. And the way the Colts have mismanaged this and really just mismanaged AR in general this year doesn't really give you a vote of confidence that it's going to get any better, right? Unless everybody's gone and they completely restart, which I don't know if that's going to happen. So it is a very tough place to be at right now for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think definitely AR's future is 100% in doubt, and it should be in doubt. I mean, fans should not be sold. At this point, Derek, AR has not earned the right, I think, to be viewed as a long-term piece right now. And that's somebody that we've given the benefit of the doubt to. I mean, like, we have tried to give him every opportunity, but Derek, this is very concerning, and nothing to do with him and his mindset. I think it's just some guys, their bodies aren't made to last. Sometimes that happens, and it's unfortunately in 2 years, that's been the case more often than not with Anthony Richardson. That's the hard reality that we find ourselves in. And like I said, if you go in after year 3 next year, and it's still the same, right? You still don't have a clear answer if he's the guy or not. I think you'd probably know at that point if he is or not, because he'll have another season, But I think definitely then you start looking at a quarterback, and it's going to be a really good quarterback class. And we're going to talk about that in another video for sure. But yeah, man, definitely frustrating that Shane Steichen has just really butchered it this year. I definitely think, Derek, if he does stay on, somebody's going to have to sit him down and have a conversation with him on how to actually handle the media and how to do good PR, because he has not done that at all this year. And we'll just have to see, man, moving forward, what happens here when it comes to, Shane Steichen, Anthony Richardson, all that stuff moving forward. But definitely very concerning for the future of Anthony Richardson with this franchise. But we'll see, man, what happens. We'll see if he does play on Sunday. He's not sure yet. I know he was a non-participant today. So we'll see what the Colts do. And if he doesn't again, Derek, I mean, again, that's 17 out of 33 games that he has not played in if he doesn't play on Sunday. And that is very concerning.
I just want to say again, like, So this guy, Tuesday, was crawling around his house because he couldn't walk, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And we got told it was freaking soreness.
Yes.
Can you believe that? You just
Ridiculous.
believe the ignorance of Shane Steichen to have not kept that, or to have,
Swept it under
told
the
or
rug.
not told people that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you don't have to give all the details, but like, it's reminding me of, like, remember earlier in the season when the 49ers weren't being 100% transparent with some of their running back injuries that was going on
Yeah.
with like Christian McCaffrey? Like, it's not quite to that extent, but it's like, what good did you think that telling people that he was going to miss because of soreness was going to do? You already know that people were calling him soft before that. You already know people were calling him injury prone before that. If you can't beat the argument one way or the other, at least tell people the truth.
Yeah.
This guy was having spasms throughout the week, and it was very bad. And he could not during the week practice to the level that we need him to. So we're going to keep him out. And like, at least then, like, oh, okay, like, at least the injury prone thing is better than the soft argument.
Right.
The injury prone argument is better than the soft argument, but you fed right into both. Like, I don't understand. Again, half of the coaches.
It is just like one of those things, like
PR.
when kids will like tell a lie, right? And it's just like, it's so not necessary. You're like, why'd you tell that lie? They're like, I don't know. I just felt like telling. I just kind of like had to say something. And it's like, you didn't need to tell that lie. You could have just told us the truth and we would have understood. That's what it almost gives me the vibes of, which is like, you're a professional head coach. You don't have to go into like all these specifics and say, oh yeah, he was crawling on his floor. He couldn't stand. You don't have to do that, but at least be honest, because like you said, what good does it do to lie? All it does is make people think that you're not trustworthy. Your organization is a joke, which a lot of people already think that anyway. It just seems like they are like, they're almost like one-upping themselves. The whole like hold my beer thing. It's like, oh, I bet I can embarrass us more this week. Now hold my beer, Shane Steichen says, right? I can do it. I can completely just undersell the fact that our quarterback could not stand on Tuesday. It's just silly. Like, you almost just throw your hands up and laugh. And like I said earlier, Derek, I think if he would have been transparent, I think a lot more fans would have been okay with him being back. But the fact that he has now done, I think now you say, what, like 2 or 3 different times, that he has just completely botched the PR thing. I guess 3 times because of what he said about the lateness and the culture and stuff. I mean, it's 3 times this year where he has completely just butchered it. And I think fans are fed up because it doesn't do him any favors in the eyes of fans. It's like, it tells fans, you are a part of the problem too. You are part of the problem. You're not being honest. You're BSing just like this whole organization BSs. And I think fans are just fed up, man. And so that's why if the Colts keep Shane Steichen, which who knows what's going to happen, I don't know if it's a lot of fans. There's still going to be some that are happy because Ballard's gone, but you're not going to have the full fan base back. I don't think you will. I think at this point, Derek and Jim Irsay, it's up to him. I think he needs to do it personally, but I think you just need to start over from scratch. I really do. I really do. Because, while Shane Steichen, when it comes to the, his track record versus Ballard and Bradley's, it doesn't look as bad. I mean, the PR stuff is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I just don't think that that's something that you want moving forward. If Shane cannot tell the truth, obviously, I don't know if that's something and the guy you want leading your franchise, Derek. I don't know if that is.
Or you can't lie through your teeth and like stick up for your guys. Like, I mean, it's, you mentioned again the whole like, about the missing meetings and things like that. Like, you told the truth, but that just makes you look bad. That just makes you look very, very bad because it means you condone it. It means that you allowed it. You need to say like, oh, like guys do not. I mean, it was, you don't miss meetings. And if you do, we are going to punish them sternly and understand that this is not acceptable.
Right.
But like, again, he didn't do that. So, it's, I hate that we're here, dude. It feels like it's 2022 all over again, right in the middle of the Reich era. And everybody I just feel like everyone needs to be gone.
And I just am afraid that Jim Irsay is not going to do that. That's my biggest concern. I'm afraid he's going to get sentimental. I'm afraid that he's going to fire some, but not all. And I just think at this point, man, I don't see the benefit of keeping Shane Steichen around. I know some people would disagree with that. But again, Derek, it's 3 times this season where Shane Steichen has frankly embarrassed people that he was here to promote and to, raise up. And it's embarrassing. It just really is embarrassing. And it's very clear, Derek, at this point that he is a part of the issue right now with some of the comments he's made or not made in regards to certain things. And yeah, I think you just need to kind of start over. Well, I don't know if the Colts are going to do that, but I definitely think a lot of fans are not going to be interested until you blow the whole thing up, which it sucks, but it's just like, why is it so hard for Jim Irsay in this organization to do things the right way? Why does it always have to be so backwards? Why do we always have to do all these backward things? It's like, just do what competent organizations do. I just don't know why that's so hard for us to do. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, for real.
All right, guys, let us know your thoughts here on the AR, Shane Steichen stuff, and curious your thoughts. Let us know in the comments down below. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.